Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the happiest hour on earth. We're so excited. We're talking about Halloween tonight. It is our one and only Halloween episode for this year, and we're going to be breaking down the scariest Disney rides. We're going to be ranking them and just talking about all of the spooky attractions that Disney has to offer, and we're really excited about it. But before we jump into that, it's my first night back in about a month at this point. I think the last time that I recorded with Chris was about a month ago because we officially welcomed our second baby.
Yeah.
He is a month old at this point. Oh, so I guess it's been over a month.
Yeah, I think it's over a month. And I think it's been about that since I recorded as well, because the last two episodes were me by myself, which I'm so glad you're here because talking to myself feels very strange. Obviously, I'm talking to you guys, but I'm really just talking to my phone at the time. Yeah. But I'm so glad you're back. And yeah, that was about a month ago when I did those. Or before a month. Yeah, because we didn't even have the baby yet.
He's a month old as of yesterday, like to the day at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a wild month. It's kind of gone by in the blink of an eye, and Chris is officially back at work for the time being. He took the month off, so we've just been kind of adjusting to our new life for a bit, and it's been so nice to just all be together and kind of have that bonding time.
Yeah. I'll be back on paternity leave in a little bit. I'm just kind of splitting it up. But it's nice that I just work from home. So if I need to help, I just walk down the stairs and help out. So
yeah, because I'm now just adjusting to solo momhood with two kids.
Major props to Emily. She's doing such a good job. We're 2 days in and you're just killing it. You're doing a great job.
Better than I anticipated. I was very, very nervous about it leading up to it, but it's going pretty well. Yeah. We're finding our rhythm. It's going pretty well, but I am very excited to be back to the podcast.
I was going to say finding our rhythm. We have a control center here. Yeah. We have our son, our first son over here that I'm watching. We have our newest little baby on the right side, making sure that they don't wake up during this podcast.
Which could very much happen. More than likely, this one would be the one to wake up.
This is very strange. It's like trying to be in the topic while also making sure that they're okay. This is crazy. This is our first time.
It's gonna be wild.
With a 1 month old who could wake up at any time. So this is just exciting for you guys as well, because you get to see how long Emily will last.
How long will I be in this episode? We'll see. I don't know.
Maybe the whole thing. I have a good feeling.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be a shorter episode just to make sure that you're in it all. But I'm super excited to jump into this topic. So
I've missed it. It's been so sad to not have our weekly podcast filming. I'm just really excited that we're finally getting back into it. It's going to be, a little different probably for a time as we keep adjusting to stuff, but
which actually brings up a point that next week we'll actually have a bonus episode from Market House Podcast. Thanks to them for letting us use an episode that we were featured on for their podcast, and we talk about what it's like going to the parks as parents and how the best way is to do it. And then we also just talk about some other fun stuff. So can't wait to let you hear that. That will be on podcasting platforms only, not YouTube. So go follow us on there. But that gives us another little break before we jump back into it fully. Also, it's Halloween next week, but also Emily's 30th birthday. So we're not recording a podcast episode next week. We're having fun. We're going to be celebrating her birthday.
Yeah, busy.
Out by the beach, and then also back here with some friends doing some wine tasting. So now that she can finally drink some wine, which she's not tonight because schedules are weird with babies.
Feeding and all that. It's kind of complicated when you're drinking. So just not doing that as much these days, but
we will to celebrate your 30th. It'll be a great time.
We will for that.
It'll be fun. But anyways, without further ado, let's get into the scariest Disney attractions.
Let's do it.
All right, so we have 10 attractions here. We are only focusing on the U.S. parks. There are some attractions from international parks that are very scary, and maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do that next year. Yeah, we are only doing this one Halloween episode this year. We have some from from prior years. If you want to check those out that are fun. We did real ghost stories of Disneyland. I think we mainly focused on. We talked about our Halloween favorites when it comes to movies and all that stuff. So definitely go check those out. But tonight we have not talked about scariest Disney rides.
I don't think we have.
And we have 10 here. And our list might be very different from yours.
Yeah.
We want to hear yours, though. Drop them in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube, or hit us up on our latest Instagram post about this episode. Tell us what you think is the scariest ride.
Yeah, because they kind of vary in terms of like actual spooky factor versus just like thrill or like scariness.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I know it's kind of, we kind of get into spooky a little bit later on. Our first two are a little bit more of, oh my gosh, I don't feel safe. So you might know what those are, but should we start? No, wait, let's start with our honorable mentions first that are not year round. Do you want to talk about these?
Yeah, sure. Kind of makes sense. They're only there around Halloween time, both of these rides, but both Space Mountain, Ghost Galaxy, and Monsters After Dark, which is the Guardians of the
Mission Breakout
ride that is themed to be extra scary. So both of those are pretty spooky. Definitely. Ghost Galaxy is like, I mean, it freaked me out definitely the first couple times going on it. Like the part where there's like a hand that like follows you as you're like, I don't know.
I need like when you're going up that hill. This is only in Disneyland, I believe. Actually, I think there is one in an international park. This year, Disneyland actually didn't do it, which is sad because it is always kind of fun around Halloween time. Monsters After Dark, they are doing. And the thing I love about Monsters After Dark is that it's not like Space Mountain where for weeks upon weeks, it's just Ghost Galaxy. Like in the daytime, you get Mission Breakout, but then after 4 o'clock or something like that, you get Monsters After Dark. And I wish they would do that with other rides because I love that whole, let's check it out in the morning, do regular, and then let's
have
go.
A whole different thing to experience later. I mean, it's not totally different, but it does add some extra like thrill to it.
I mean, honestly, from the queue to the ride, I mean, in the... the music is different. The pre-show is different too, which is crazy that they switched that up.
I think I've only been on
the video
once.
Screens. Maybe
twice, maybe, but I can't really remember the specifics.
It's pretty crazy. So it's so cool that they do that. Both pretty scary. Ghost Galaxy has a little jump scare right at the end, and then Monsters After Dark. It's just really fun that they switch it up, and it is pretty scary. I mean,
it changes the music too.
Yeah, the music is like.
It's
like a rock and roll Halloween song.
Like literally like Monsters After Dark.
Yeah, that's what they say in it.
Yeah.
But that is definitely a fun one. If you're on the East Coast and have not experienced this, or if you just like haven't gone during Halloween time, go check it out on YouTube. A POV video. It is pretty fun. It's really cool.
Yeah.
But should we jump into
the real list?
Yeah, the real list. I guess I could start with number 10 because I feel like I've done this ride more than you.
Yeah, I don't know if I know I went on the old version.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're starting number 10, and hang in there if you're like, wait, why is this even on their list?
Yeah.
But I mean, I think there's other thrilling rides that Disney offers that are more intense, loops and corkscrews and all that stuff. But we had to put this one on our list because it really feels like your life is being threatened by it. Where the other rides, I'm like, I could do a loop. I'm strapped in. I feel good. But number 10 is Goofy's Sky School in California Adventure, which a Goofy ride on Scariest Disney Attractions doesn't really sound right. But if you've been on Goofy's Sky School or Mulholland Madness, which was the old ride, you'll know how scary this is. You really feel like you're going to be flying off the track. You really feel like your head is going to be hitting the rails above you. It doesn't feel like a safe ride at all. And so, yes, there's nothing scary besides feeling like
your safety.
Yeah. Besides feeling like I might not make it.
Yeah.
And if you're laughing at this and you're like, why would they put this on? I dare you to go on the ride if you haven't and try not to scream. It is frightening.
Yeah. My memory is pretty vague because I went on Mulholland Madness, which it's been switched out to Goofy Sky School for quite a while at this point. It was probably like when we had first started dating, I think was
Yeah.
when I went on Mulholland Madness.
But you remember
But it was
those
similar.
turns, right? Remember?
Yeah, I remember
it goes
the
up the hill
quick,
fast.
jerky
And yeah, just
turns.
like it, you feel like you're about to fall off. It's
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
pretty
think
scary.
I enjoyed the feeling very much.
yeah.
But
It's not fun.
yeah.
The next one's very similar.
Similar in that vein, I guess, is the Pixar Pal Around. This is not one that we do often. We have,
Yeah.
but it's
If we do it, we're not on the
swinging
gondolas.
So obviously, if you don't know what the Pixar Pal Around is, it's the Ferris wheel in California Adventure. So there are some ride,
just regular ones.
yeah,
Like regular Ferris wheel that you would see at every
yeah, where
carnival.
you just sit stable in your spot and go around. But they also have swinging ones where as you are going up and around, you're also swinging quite a far distance too. It's not just like a little like swing back and forth. It's like you're like sliding across and then swinging.
You're sliding and you're also kind of like kicking up in the air.
Yeah.
Like you're
Yeah.
it's
a little
pretty
terrifying.
freaky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like you're just gonna fly over the edge and just like go into the big water spot.
If you stay around that area, you'll definitely hear screams from above because the swinging gondolas are like that's
Pretty
like a dare.
terrifying.
That's like I dare you to do this and not scream. It is very scary. And that's the only Ferris wheel that I've seen that has done that.
Yeah.
Like I think that's like a Disney only thing.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that before. And we've only done it a very small handful of times. Like I probably couldn't count on one hand how many times we've done it.
And it's based on like gravity too, because when it goes up, like sometimes you won't be swinging, but then other times, like as it's going around the Ferris wheel, it like tips due to gravity. So then you just go really fast, and it's like it's just insane. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's not a fun time. I mean, I guess if you're into that kind of thrill, it's a fun time, but I'm not really into it.
I'm not into it either.
It's a little too.
I mean, even the
much
non-swinging is scary because you're so high up.
Yeah. I mean,
But
if you just don't think about it too much, it's a really cool view of the park and everything. But yeah, it is up pretty high.
Yeah, let's hear the swinging gondola haters down in the comments below.
Yeah.
Let's hear if you've ever feared for your life, give us a thumbs up and drop a little raised hand emoji.
And you know what's so funny? Park hop teas, which we absolutely love, and we have so many of their teas. They have yes, Chris is wearing one currently. They literally made a tea that said like swinging, what is it say?
Swinging line only or something like that. Like,
yeah, swing line only or something, which is referring to the Pixar Pal Around. And we like wore it and we're like rocking it as if that was our actual opinion. But it's like,
I can't do it.
love the shirt,
can't survive it.
but also no, this is not.
Why aren't we wearing that tonight? And why aren't we wearing their amazing Haunted Mansion tea?
Oh my gosh.
I know that's so
true.
silly of us. If
world?
you are listening and you love Haunted Mansion, go to Park Hop Tees, find this shirt. It's like one of our favorites, that Haunted Mansion. There's also a Tower of Terror
and we were
shirt.
wearing both of them a few days ago, actually, because we went to a Halloween event in our downtown area.
Yeah.
And we don't have our costumes ready yet at the moment. So we're wearing our spooky Park Hop tees, of course.
Yeah. So we wore those.
So
we
dirty
repped it
now,
in downtown. Yeah.
Yeah. But
So
those
fun.
are amazing.
Great shirts.
Tees.
I don't know why. Well, I don't know why we didn't wear them, but also we're parents of two now and our brains are not fully together. So that's fine.
Yeah.
So next up, number 8, drum roll, please. It is my favorite ride. Indiana Jones coming at number 8. I wouldn't say it's like there are scary parts, but it's so fast and exhilarating that you're like almost
It's like thrilling. It's like a very thrilling ride.
You're almost like laughing in enjoyment so much that you don't have time to be scared. But I would say the scariest part here is probably the skeleton room at the kind of near the beginning. There's a big snake, but obviously he just doesn't look anything, he doesn't look real or anything like that. But to have such an amazing inside thrill ride with that much like projections and animatronics, it is just top notch. One of my favorites. I've been on it so many times that maybe that's why it's number 8. I mean, if I hadn't been on it, maybe it'd be a little scarier for me, but honestly, it's just so fun that you don't see much for too long. You're just kind of zipping through there. So you're just having a great time.
Yeah, but it does have a place on the scariest list because it's just got some of those thrills and those scares that, that get you when you're on the ride. It's so fun though. It's such a good ride.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Next on the list though, number 7 is Expedition Everest, which is in Animal Kingdom in Disney World. I've only been on it once, but it definitely has the thrill and the scare with the Yeti, who is still not working, I guess. After
He's still Disco Yeti.
He's
still he doesn't really move. He just kind of has some light splash
he's just
on
there,
him.
but he is pretty large and terrifying. So
this would have been higher on our list if he was working. But since you only see him for such a quick moment, it's not as scary and it's so quick.
Yeah. But it is so thrilling because right in that moment is when you go like up and then you go backwards.
Yeah. And it looks like the tracks are broken and then you go backwards. Yeah.
Which is, it was very scary.
Yeah. And there's another scene where you do see like a shadow of him like ripping the track. But you only see him one time and it's so quick and he doesn't move. So it's like, 7's a good spot.
I think
but the thrill is really great in that.
Yeah, it is. It's very thrilling.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. So number 6, this used to be like the scariest ride in the world to me. It has changed since a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So we're talking about Snow White's Enchanted Wish, but mainly what it was before, which was Snow White's Scary Adventures. Now, they added like the old one. If you didn't know Snow White's Scary Adventures, it literally ends with the evil queen falling off a cliff and then you're done. Like you're just like, whoa, there she goes.
Nothing happy to end it off with. No
like most
closure.
Fantasyland rides.
Yeah. It's just kind of like, okay, she's gone. And the ride's over.
I know. Really, the only one that was happy was like Peter Pan and Pinocchio before. It's like Pinocchio turns into a real boy, but like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, it's like you're in hell.
Yeah.
Now get out of the car.
Yeah.
And then this one before it was like the evil queen fell to her death and that's it. But now there's a happy ending. They changed a couple things. Before there was like some skeletons hanging on the wall, the queen in a boat like coming up to you. Remember that? Coming up to you and being like, Apple.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, it's like,
scary.
Get away from me. They still have the evil queen turning into the old hag and you're so close to her. So I think it deserves a 6. There's 2 parts, I think, where you see her really scary. But the old one too, there used to be like this huge scene with all these creepy trees and the alligators, that's not really there anymore, but I had to put it on the list because the evil queen is still present. She turns around and looks at you right in the face, super close by.
Yeah.
And it's just it's definitely the scariest Fantasyland ride.
Yeah.
I remember one time I did it by myself when I was a kid. And I was like, dude, get me out of here.
A one-time
not
thing,
fun.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Not try
Never
that
again. Never again.
Okay, so coming in at number 5, we have Haunted Mansion, which arguably could have been higher on the list, like closer to number 1. But
I feel like it really depends. Like it could have been lower, it could have been higher. It really depends on.
Well, I mean, the
so
point
funny,
of it is that
spooky.
it's supposed to be spooky and scary.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like the whole beginning part.
Yeah.
Is, like, I don't know. I would say it's pretty spooky.
I think number 5 is a great area for this ride because it does have goofy and it does have scary. So it's like middle of the pack. I feel like it's perfect for this ride. Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely has both elements, but the point of it is that you're in a haunted house and there's ghosts everywhere. So it is definitely on the spooky side. I remember when I was a kid, I was terrified to go on it. Like the first time that I ever went to Disneyland, I think I was maybe 6. And I think that we did it, if I recall. I think that my family went on it and I was like, I'm just gonna keep my eyes closed the whole time. I'm just gonna not even watch.
I totally kept my eyes closed the first time I went on it too.
And then I like went on it and I was like, okay, this wasn't as scary as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
But it does have some spooky factors. So definitely.
It does. I think it's the whole like, it's the whole anticipation to like the main part we know and love, right? Like the elevator scene is so classic, but if you think about it, like nowadays, all the Disney fans go in, you want to quote it, you're having just a fun time. You want to get near the door so you get out there. But yeah, for someone who hasn't done it before, going down and then seeing like what happens above you with the lightning and the scream when the person falls. And then also just the hallway scene and the amazing effects of like the people looking at you. Mm-hmm. It's really the anticipation that puts it at number 5, where you go in and then the first part of the ride is spooky, and the cast members.
A lot of times they really add to the spookiness.
Yeah. And I love the, as you're going through, there's that scene where the doorknobs are like clanking and then, you know, you go to the attic scene with the bride too. Also so creepy.
Yeah.
But that ride is just such a perfect way for Disney to do scary, because then it ends on that like goofier note, but just the way that both, they were able to handle spooky and funny and lighthearted, but also the Madame Leota. I mean, it's creepy in and of itself for doing the whole
the
seance thing. Yeah.
But also, I was just gonna say that in Behind the Attraction, I love just hearing them talk about this ride when the ride was coming about and like just the vibe that they were trying to go for.
I mean, because there's so many different Imagineers that were working on this project. You know, Yale Gracie, Raleigh Crump, Mark Davis, Claude Coates, and they were all kind of trying to figure out, should it be for kids, should it be for adults, but scary, like it. And it just kind of got pulled in different directions. Yeah, and they blended it so well.
They had to find the perfect balance of all of that to make it like not too scary for kids, but spooky enough that like adults would find it fun and intriguing too. And I feel like they really struck the right balance with it.
Yeah,
because it is good. So many people's favorites.
Yeah,
all ages.
I love it.
Such a good one.
Number 5, Haunted Mansion. Yeah, number 4. Now we were stuck between this, but it had to go. It is a little bit scarier than Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, and it was his choice because I never officially went on it. I have heard much about it, but you actually experienced
so it. Yeah, tough to be a bug. This used to be in California Adventure in Bugs Land. It's now in Animal Kingdom in the Tree of Life there. It's actually getting switched to a Zootopia thing. So no more torture chamber if you've been on it and you've been tortured by the scary things that await you in there. Oh my gosh. It was, I mean, I never went on it as an adult. I went on it as a kid, but that enough. I was like, man, when I have a Disney podcast, I'm putting it number 4 on the scariest Disney attractions. It was so scary.
Years ago.
It, if you haven't been on it, imagine like big bugs. And first it starts off super lighthearted. You know, they're talking and they're like sting bugs are like farting in your nose and stuff like that. Like that's the happy part. That's the happy part, is you get to smell all that stuff. Now, when it gets scary is Hopper from A Bug's Life comes out and he steals the show. And he's like, you know what? You've exterminated us for long enough. Now I'm going to exterminate you. You're like, what's that mean? Well, what it means is I think it's a smoke bug, like does some smoke. Hornets come out of nowhere and they literally we're watching Parks and Rec right now, literally sting your back. Like you feel the stingers sting your back.
How they do that.
Well, I mean, okay, it's like quick air being blasted into your back.
Oh my gosh.
No, but it's scary. No, but I mean
a literal sting.
I mean, it's scary when he's like, hornets, it's now your turn, and then you feel something kind of sting you. And then right after the hornets, tons of black widows, huge black widows come down from the ceiling, and they're literally trying to eat your face off. And you're like, whoa, what's up? So that's why it had to be number 4, because it's not really creepy. It's more like a Saw movie or something. Like it's like you're literally in this till the end. And then you do your thing, but yeah, there's stinging, there's farting, there's black widows trying to poison you. So
Doesn't
it's like
sound like a fun time. He did
it's
show
not-
me a video of it before this, and I saw the Black Widow part, and yeah, I was not about it. I'm definitely not into insects of any kind, so this does kind of sound like a torture chamber.
Yeah, I think 4 is a good spot on it, but
yeah,
I want to hear all the tough to be a bug haters in the comments below too.
yeah.
And if you love it, explain your position,
Yes,
but we will disagree.
Explain.
I know Market House, which will be, which will have their episode next week on podcasting platforms. They enjoy it.
Yeah,
that is.
I know
crazy.
a couple. I've heard of a few people that do genuinely enjoy it.
I'm gonna get them stink bugs and hornets for like their baby shower or something.
Like a nice, just bag.
Here's some hornets.
Insects.
And maybe
Just
a Black Widow or two. Because they love it. I don't know why. It's crazy.
Explain, guys.
Yeah, explain. Number 3, we're now in our top 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Should we do it?
Coming in at number 3, we have Matterhorn bobsleds. So the new version of Matterhorn bobsleds, which it's been a couple years.
Yeah, it's been years.
I don't know how many years it's been at this point, but they did kind of update the Yeti and add more scenes of him from the way that it was before. And yeah, there's like a part when you're going up the hill and then he's kind of like, you see like his shadow kind of on the wall.
Yeah,
and
he's like
he's kind of like moving alongside you and you like hear the sound of him.
Yeah.
And it's super spooky. And just, yeah, I will never not jump at all, like the couple of scenes on the ride where he like appears and he's right next to you. He just
like
looks
hands
so
are like
big
on the side, and he's just
and he just looks really realistic. Like more, I think more than he used to, right?
Oh yeah, the old one was
I can't.
The old one was
recall.
Harold, and he just like had his arms up.
Mm-hmm.
But this one's like he's like shaking his head and
like, it
trying
just
to
looks
eat you.
more terrifying, just scarier.
And you get really close to him. Where before I think he was standing kind of far back ish, but now he's like right in your face.
It feels like the way that you move, you just like almost brush right by him because he's so close. And
there's
it's like
2
3 or
scenes.
4.
It's been a while because my back doesn't like the ride.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you're going in, there's one time I think you go to the right. And then another time you go to like the left, but he's just, and then there's one time I think, there's 2 times, but there's one time where there's kind of like a strobe effect, I think. And he's just like, well, he's so close to you as you're going by, but it is, because it feels like a pop out because it's so quick. And you never know which entrance into the mountain is going to be him. Like you go back into the mountain multiple times and you're like, oh, is this going to be him? No. Is this going to, and then he's there and you're like, oh my gosh,
kind of a
dude.
surprise.
Yeah.
The ride itself is fun aside from the, jerking you around and hurting your back so bad.
Yeah.
But those jump scares with the Yeti are definitely worth having it this high up on the list.
I would say so. Yeah.
Great.
So number two is Dinosaur from Animal Kingdom. We only went on this once and I was screaming the entire time. I mean, it's very much like Indiana Jones.
Pretty much exactly.
But it's literally the same track. But here you see that, so I put down the name, the Carnotaurus. I think I'm saying that right. The Carnotaurus. You see him like, I think 3 times. And every time you like stay there for a little bit.
T-Rex.
Yeah, it's a different one. I think still the tiny arms, but it has like little horns, right?
Yeah.
But you see him so many times, and so many times it's just like dark. You're like, where am I literally going? And you see like thunder crashing and the like lightning, not thunder. You see lightning going off and like volcano stuff. And then you'll just turn a corner and he's right in your face. And you're like, oh my gosh. So even though it's this literal same ride system and track as Indiana Jones, this one is definitely more like in your face. Yeah. I am going to eat you from this Carnotaurus. Yeah. And really every time it's scarier and scarier every time you see him.
Yeah. And
it's super loud. It's like loud and dark. And then like flashy.
All of a sudden it's like this giant dinosaur when it is light.
Yeah.
That's just like the first thing you see.
It's pretty horrifying. I remember, I can't find the photo. I remember the photo. I was just like in total
I don't know
shock. I was
photo.
like destroyed.
I don't remember if we even took a photo of it.
Oh, like while we were there?
Yeah.
I know. I think I didn't want anyone to see. I didn't want proof that my face could look that scared.
It
was pretty terrifying
photo, because we also had no idea when the photo would be taken. So it was
Yeah.
purely terror, whatever our faces looked like in that moment.
It was pretty amazing. But yep, that had to be on our number 2. Some people might have gone it, all the time and they're just so used to it. But for first timers, man, that thing was scary.
It was pretty scary.
Yeah.
But this brings us to our number 1, which also means I made it to the end of the episode.
Yeah. Well, let's see. We have a few minutes.
I mean, to at least finish off the list. That's what I'm saying. Our number 1 had to go to none other than Tower of Terror.
I think it deserves the spot.
It had
such
to.
an incredible
It's
ride.
so
too.
good.
Yeah.
And I would definitely say specifically the Disney World version, Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
The one that we previously had here was also very scary, but the additional scene in the Disney World version adds so much to the spooky factor of like going through the room slowly, and there's just like scary stuff happening all around. I feel like sounds and
just ominous.
Very, very ominous. I remember I was really creeped out when we went on it for the first time. But yeah, just overall the theming, so spooky. I mean, anything that is Twilight Zone themed is bound to just be very scary.
Yeah.
And the ride itself, very thrilling. So it just has all the factors of a scary ride.
It's such a good ride. I'm trying to remember the queue. I think the queue is very similar in Walt Disney World, but our queue here, I mean, everything from the dilapidated building, and you're like, I'm going into this place where I just keep hearing screams from, right? Setting the scene so perfectly. And then we have that like hotel lobby with like the doll on there. And then it's just the music. Yeah, the cobwebs. Then you go into like the boiler room and then you just get on this elevator shaft and you're like, what's going to happen? And with Disney Worlds, the drops are change all the time. But yeah, that forward scene where you're going through all the different, it just feels like very Twilight Zone creepy. So, there are others on this list that are very pop out scary, but this one just provides such an eerie quality and it's such a good ride. Yeah. We just had to put it as our number 1 because the thrill matched with the thrill too.
Yep.
It's just so perfect. It's such a blend of
it.
Yeah.
Is
when are we gonna drop? Yeah.
I love it so much. And I remember the first time that I went on this ride, at least here in California, was when I was like a teenager, and I was like adamantly not gonna go on it. I was way too scared. But my friend who I had gone with was like, you're going on it. And so she forced me on it. And I just remember I was like, I'm going to sit on the edge so I can like grab onto the side and feel like I have some security there. And I was like so terrified, but I ended up loving it. And I think we went on it like immediately again afterwards. It's just such a good ride.
Yeah, it might rank number 1 on our scariest, but it's honestly one of the most fun in this list. And so this just goes to show you, like, I know things might be scary and you might be afraid to go on it, but you are going to have such a fun time. Just do it. Nothing on this list is totally terrifying. It's not like haunted horror nights or something at Universal. Like, I could not do that because I would literally just maybe either punch someone or just have a heart attack. But these rides are just, they're perfectly packaged. Whenever it does get scary, it's
the right amount.
It's packaged in awesome fun.
Disney always knows how to do it right. It's always a perfect balance. It's never too much. I think they've cracked the code for making rides just have the right amount of everything that they need. It's
so much fun. But that was our list. We just want to say thank you for bearing with us. We had episodes, so it wasn't like we were totally gone, but
a little absent, a little bit more absent than normal, maybe.
But we just want to thank you so much for all your support, especially during this time of having our second child and trying to figure out the whole groove of having two.
Yes, and thank you all so much for the love that you sent our way on Instagram when we announced the birth of our little one. We got so many sweet DMs and comments and everything when we had him. So thank you guys so much for that. We're very thankful. Everything went really smoothly with the birth. I'm kind of going back into all that again, but yeah, it was all very smooth, and we're really thankful that he's here and that everybody's doing well and healthy.
Yeah, for sure. And then so next week we are going to have a bonus episode of us being featured on another podcast, on Market House Podcasts, and they're just the best. So go follow our podcasting platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, all that good stuff. So you can listen to that episode next week. And then the week after that, we'll be back to being on all those platforms as well as YouTube. And we have a very fun topic. I haven't even brought it up to you yet. I just thought of this today. And very, very excited. So definitely subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on the podcasting platform so you don't miss that one. It's going to be a great time. We love you guys so much. Thanks for being such great supporters, listeners, friends of our show. We love you all so much, and we will catch you all next week.
See you then, guys.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.